There is.
Some might argue not enough, or at least not enough of the stuff that they like from Marvel,
Yeah.
which, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
is like, you know, it's like Baskin Robbins. There's 31 fucking flavors, man. You can enjoy a little bit of everything. It doesn't always have to
Mix
be
them
chocolate or
together if you
vanilla.
gotta.
Yeah.
You know, Netflix should buy Marvel so they can fix it.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I will
they could
I will reach through
totally-
this fucking computer and choke you out. I swear to Christ.
They can recreate who created the Fantastic Four movie, the really bad one.
Well, it was produced by Roger Corman, but
Ah.
let's not talk about that piece of shit. Yikes.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You're watching Splash. No.
Oh, what? No, you are not.
No. I do too many damn shows. You're watching not still talking. What the fuck? Midweek Geeks. Okay. My name's Leo. This is Midweek Geeks. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an awesome show scheduled for you as always. We're going to be talking about, is there too much Marvel? Also, Steven has a message about Ant-Man, so we'll translate that for you. A bunch of other stuff.
Because he wrote it in Swahili? What the
He did, yeah. Jar Jar.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Like, it's Wednesday night. I'm ready. I've had a rough week myself, but I needed to podcast. You guys are my therapy right now because I can't find a therapist.
Aww.
So that's dangerous.
Well, we're here for you anytime, Jar Jar.
Well, thank you. I need it.
Where's the rhyme, though?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Hey, ho. It's time for the Midweek Geek, don't you know? It's with Leo and Brandon and Jar Jar Jeremy, too. I didn't get right one for this one.
That's okay. Oh, for Brandon!
I mean, we are here for you anytime, but I mean, I do feel like it's worth mentioning again that this show is only on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just saying. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying. But oh my God, Leo, the whole monkey behind the keyboard thing and messing up the name of the fucking show like 3 times in a row. I have never wanted to say Right Turn Clyde to you more in my life.
This is why I need to take some time off. Everything's a blur, and it's I'm burnt.
I was watching you for a few minutes earlier, so yeah, you do need a day off here and there.
Yeah. It's well, my day job's been pretty crazy, and then I get to chill with you guys, at night and stuff like that. But it's still work, so it's I'm a little burnt.
It's really fucking hard work hanging out with you guys at night. That's what I just heard Leo say. So fuck you very much too, pal.
Okay, I love Steven, but whenever like something odd goes on, he messaged me separately. What was the Discord invite about? I'm already a part of Discord. Dude, you're not the only one in the chat.
God. I love
Steven, I swear to God, not every statement is directed at you.
Carrie says I volunteer a tribute to be temporary Fleo.
That'd be cool.
If you don't
I've
know,
asked. I didn't know Carrie wasn't part of the Dorkening. Like I messaged her. I'm like, how
What's
come you never join us on the Wednesday show? You're always in the comments and stuff. I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh, we need a female voice on here.
yes,
Totally,
we do.
yeah.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
I just real quick, what's this Fleo thing? Why is there an what's Fleo?
Oh,
Fake,
that's the fake Leo. That's you usually.
Oh, fucking Christ! Of course it is.
Yo-Yo says
Unbelievable.
Yo-Yo says he's having computer issues. So I told him hop on anytime. So hopefully he can get those resolved. And the message from Steven. So Steven saw Ant-Man. I have not seen it yet.
I saw it.
So he says you
The
can
Avengers.
probably decipher this for us, Brandon. Where the fuck is his message? Jeez.
I believe it was
it's in the
something
chat.
to the
It
the
is,
Avengers are fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah. It's pretty much what-
All I
yeah,
have to say
all I
about
have to say about Ant-Man 3 is the Avengers are fuck because
I think he died.
he put a couple of C's and K's in the middle of that, and that's how my brain translates it.
so that would that be Foucade?
Fukid. The Avengers are Fukid.
Without spoiling, can you decipher that?
I mean, sure. Have you seen a commercial for the movie and the fact that Kang the Conqueror is the villain?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
I mean, Steve didn't really give us a whole lot. Like in his review, it's like, yeah, I mean, I think anybody who has an idea of who Kang is, or just generally speaking, just from context, you would imagine like he's a pretty big deal. So,
Oh,
yeah.
you mean they don't solve everything in one movie?
Listen, I will say this. I enjoyed Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. I did. I know a lot of critics are tearing it apart. The audience score is high. I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes in the least bit. And I've never been tempted to check numbers on that because anytime I thought maybe
Not
that
even
would be a
once.
thing, I realized like, oh, that's stupid, and I just keep on living my life. But that being said, no spoilers, nothing like that. But the movie itself, even though Kang is the villain, and we understand like there's going to be a whole multiversal thing, which had been set up ever since He Who Remains appeared at the end of Loki season 1, also played by Jonathan Majors. He's a Kang variant. The movie is relatively self-contained, which I found to be immensely refreshing from an MCU movie. I feel like that may be some folks' big gripe with it, is that it didn't give you like more of what like the next thing is going to be. And quite frankly, I'm a little tired of these movies just basically being stepping stones to
yeah.
some greater plot point down the line that has the skin of a movie over it. I thought it was fun. It felt like it had some stakes to it. It set up what we could likely see moving forward. They didn't reveal a whole lot by the end of this particular chapter regarding what the villain's doing next or anything. And I don't know. I thought it was a lot of fun. I will say this. A lot of people are kind of scratching their head as to why Luis wasn't like involved in this movie. And considering that they were saying that especially because they wanted Luis to do the recap kind of deal like he did previously. This isn't a spoiler, but the movie starts and ends with Scott narrating the story.
Mhm.
So if your main character is narrating what happened, the purpose that Luis would serve becomes redundant. And it takes place in the quantum realm. That is not Luis or the Russian dude's like purview at all. That is full on Hank and Janet and Hope and of course Scott, and we know that Cassie gets sucked in too. So there wasn't room for anybody other than that particular unit. And it just it was good, and they made sense of some of the things that we had seen in previous movies, and I liked it.
See,
I
I appreciate that where it just will connect to the other movies. I don't need it to give me more of what's coming in the future.
Yeah, if
I,
it was the third Ant-Man movie, and that's what it felt like, and I like that. Like, I'm I don't need everything to be super duper connected. I really think that the expectation of big massive things appearing in a movie that honestly detracts from what the purpose of that movie is supposed to be is just becoming like, I don't know, it's more of the same all the time. That's why for me, like, I think like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I wasn't super impressed by, because it just felt like a way station. It honestly did not
yeah,
feel like anything happened in it.
the story was just to move along.
Yeah, like, oh, hey, well, let's just get through this so we can get to other stuff.
Yeah,
And that's not what Quantumania felt like at all. Like, Quantumania was very much the introduction to this villain, and some people might say like, "Oh, really? So Kang the Conqueror is some big badass, but like Scott Lang's the one that like has to take care of
dude.
business in this movie." And it's like, you know, Kang is in the quantum realm. Maybe think about why he's not in the quantum realm, because the thing that makes Kang badass is his control and mastery of time. You know what you don't have in the quantum realm?
Time.
Yeah.
Control of it. Time works differently there. They've
Mm.
said that from the outset. So if time works differently there, that means Kang can't operate the way he likes to and usually would. So that just brings him down to like, okay, he has like pretty good technology. That's it. Other than that, he's just a dude. So yeah, it actually kind of works that Scott Lang would be a person that could go up against him in that particular environment. And that's not giving any plot points away. You know that Scott's going to go up against Kang. You don't know what the end result is. I do. And
Well,
it's for me satisfactory.
I'm excited to go see it. I just need to find a time. Rotten Tomatoes says the audience score is 84%. The critic score is
Wow.
48%.
Ooh, it's a palindrome, kids. 4884.
So not spoiling anything. I'm a glutton for punishment. So on my feed, it popped up a breakdown of one of the end credit scenes.
Oh,
Um,
was it any good?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but it seems like it's very ambiguous on like how it ends.
Yes, which I love.
Okay.
That's one of
And
the reasons I really enjoyed it. There was nothing truly definitive when it came down to it, and that's a rarity for the MCU, because they always try to like leave it in a clean cut so you can go and get your next fix for what the next project is going to be. And walking away from Quantumania myself, at any rate, I was like, that was nice. Like, I don't like I'm actually like happy to see whatever the next thing is going to be, because there was nothing that indicated what it was in this movie. What I got was Ant-Man and the Wasp in Quantumania. And that's all anybody should expect when they go into it.
So a bunch of people watching, let us know if there's too much Marvel or if there's not enough. Let us know what you think. And if you saw Ant-Man, definitely throw it in the chat as well. Yeah, it's I'll let you know what I think once I see it. And
Yeah, I'm looking for a buddy to go with, so I
why don't
don't
you
have
come down here, Jar Jar?
take
It's
an
a long
hour and a
drive.
half drive.
Yeah, come on, drive down this way for 90 minutes so we can go
Yeah.
see a 90-minute movie.
You're
Oh,
And
it's
then
only
enjoy
an
your then enjoy your 90-minute. I don't know. I'm just fucking throwing an average out there, bro. I can't remember how long it was. It's
You
probably
could
2
drive
hours.
this way, Leo.
I want to say it's 2 hours and 4 minutes.
We got loungers, yeah. The whole theater.
I need to get my car checked before I do any long drives.
Mm,
Just bring it to the mechanic. You're like, yep, that's still a car. Oh, okay.
it
thanks,
is.
bud.
It's got four
Well,
wheels.
last time I had my cousin look at it, my rotors need to be replaced. I didn't change my pads
Brakes
in
and stuff.
time. Yeah, so that
sucks.
yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it
I
is.
just did that myself. Spent like $1,300 to get them done because I waited so long. I didn't have the money at the time that I knew that they were going, and I was just like, you know what? We're on the midweek geek, and I shouldn't be talking about my brakes.
Carrie says, how long before it'll be streaming? You can actually find it now if you want a crappy copy. But normally about 45 days is when it will be on like Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
The Plus is so hot right now. I mean, what's the next thing coming from Marvel? Do we know?
Shazam?
I will punch you in the fucking throat. Let's see. MCU.
Is it not the Wanda show, but the
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is supposed to be in May.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay.
That's coming sooner than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Secret Invasion is the spring.
Yeah.
This can't be right.
When's that show with what's her name supposed to come out? I'm totally blanking on the other witch from WandaVision. Agatha. Yeah.
Agatha House of Harkness or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Covenant of Chaos. I don't know what they're calling it.
Jesus.
Covenant of Chaos. Yeah. Well, because it was like House of Harkness or something before. But Agatha Covenant of Chaos. I really wish I gave a flying fuck about that show.
I have a kid in the house that's begging to watch that. So
this is coming. I loved WandaVision. I absolutely adored that show. Agatha, Covenant of Chaos.
Moon Girl and Devil Girl. Or Devil Girl.
Devil Girl. Wow.
It's Devil Dinosaur, right? Marvel Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
I think it's Devil Dog.
Moon Girl.
No.
Moon Girl.
Yes.
Marvel.
What? Moon Girl and Devil is really good. What are we talking about? Is
that Devil Dinosaur, the cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's on Marvel right now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Disney Plus.
I'm not a fan of the animation style. I haven't checked it out though.
Yeah, but as I was saying, I mean, I loved WandaVision, but Agatha, House of Harkness, and also I'm a fan of Catherine Hahn. I have been for a long time, and she's super talented. However, the Agatha Covenant of Chaos, there's nothing about that project that to me feels organic whatsoever. They are literally only making that show because of the huge reaction to her reveal in WandaVision, and I think it's a huge misstep because they are creating an entire series hinged upon the fact that people got a kick out of the character being revealed as the villain in another show. I don't know that that's sustainable for her being the main character of another show altogether.
I understand that.
I mean, I'm not wishing it to fail. I'm just saying it doesn't. There's something off about it. My gut feeling is it's not going to be great, and I don't have that very often when it comes to some of these projects. And that one, it just doesn't sit right with me. There's something about it. I don't know. And it's not like, the
That's probably
stupid
why.
misogynistic bullshit that so many fucking dildos
Oh
out
no,
there.
I would never think that of you, Brandon.
You know, like that's not my style at all. It's just I don't know, there's something about it. It just seems like such a crass, like money grab. I can't think of a way to really like drive it. And I'm not like I'm not saying this to piss anyone off. I'm not trying to like disparage anyone from seeing the show. That's not it. So if anyone hears this and they're getting like riled up by what I'm saying, please understand. I want it to be good. I want it to be good. I will watch it. But what I'm saying is at this juncture, I don't have a great feeling about it. That's all.
So Tom says he thinks it'll be out this fall. So I found an updated list, and this is everything we're most likely getting this year, and it's quite the list. So early 2023, we're going to get What If Season 2.
Oh, nice.
Then spring of 2023, we're getting Secret Invasion. Then May 5th, we're getting Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Summer, Loki Season 2. Also summer, Echo. And also summer in June, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. In July, the Marvels.
I mean, I wouldn't count Across the Spider-Verse as part of the MCU.
No, that's
Well, it's still Marvel.
Yeah, but we're talking about the MCU.
What if Holland's in it?
He's not though.
What if?
C2VR. Hey guys. Hey. Ironheart is fall. I didn't realize this was coming out this year. Craven's coming out in October.
Once again,
Really?
not MCU.
Oh.
No, it's not. It's not MCU.
No, that's Sony, isn't it?
Sony.
Yeah,
It's
that's
Sony.
totally
I thought-
like.
No. Explain yourself, Leo.
I won't even watch that.
I want to know why. Well, you know as well as I do that is Sony and not Marvel Studios.
Oh yes, I know it's Sony, but
It's not MCU.
It's a thin thread through Doctor Strange.
Do you like Morbius?
No.
I didn't watch
No.
Morbius.
First of all, fuck that line of thinking, okay? Because I will not ever fucking accept that the Sony shit is most certainly part of the MCU. You want to say that Morbius is part of the MCU?
Oh no.
Oh no. But here's the thing, Leo. If you're gonna say Craven is, then Morbius is too. So which one is it?
Well, yeah, that's the point I was bringing up.
Yeah, which one is it? Is it because it's all or none?
Well, okay. So before Spider-Man, I would have said no, but after Spider-Man, like
Spider-Man, what? Like
the last one,
No
Way Home.
Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
When the 3 Spider-Men.
That's No Way. That's No Way Home.
No Way Home. Okay.
It was Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Yep.
Then Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay. Spider-Man No Way Home. Because they did that branch of the Sony Spider-Man universe that there's a thin thread that, it could be part of the bigger, it's not the main MCU, but
no, it's not the MCU. It's not. It's not the MCU.
Technically, it's not the MCU, but if I was
literally, it's not the MCU. Literally, it's not the MCU.
If I was to put it on my movie shelf, I would then have to move I'm gonna have to move all the movies.
It's Spunk. It is Spunk. That's what they call it. The Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. Spunk.
Spunk. What a name.
Yeah, they really know how to make those acronyms at Sony. They're the best.
Okay, continuing Winter, X-Men 97. And Winter is also, actually, they're saying either 2023 or 2024 Agatha. And that should be, and then Daredevil is actually, that's early 2024.
Spring 24.
Yeah, so a lot of Marvel related properties along the way. There, is that better?
Yeah, Marvel related is fine, but like MCU, no, not so much.
Okay.
No. I mean, like, you can't even really argue that Craven and Venom and Morbius are part of the MCU because they haven't even established who Spider-Man would be in that universe.
They actually, yeah, you're right.
So, like, you say, oh, well, you know, even if you try to say, like, well, you know, they had the two Sonys in there. Okay, but what if it's not either one of them that ends up playing Spider-Man in some capacity in those movies?
I hope they
Throws
bring
that right
Garfield
out the
back.
window. I don't think they will.
He was such a good Spider-Man.
He was, but they also fucked him. So, like, he can't. I think him coming back for No Way Home was a great way for him to be able to, like, resolve any lingering, like, threads for him personally playing the
also,
character.
Yeah, his scene there, I think
Saving MJ.
yeah, it was done very well.
Yeah, that whole thing was great.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like that was the perfect amount of service to give his version of Spider-Man. And I, for one, I enjoyed his rendition of Peter Parker and Spider-Man in The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's not to say I thought either one of those movies were the hottest thing since the first loaf of bread ever came out of a fucking oven. But he was certainly not the weakness at any point in either one of those.
No, he's
and
probably one of my favorite Peter Parkers.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I will say this. And this is going all the way back to like the year 2000. I will never understand the appeal of Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker and Spider-Man ever. I don't get it.
It was our first big screen Spider-Man.
No. I know
like
that.
Spider-Man.
I'm saying I don't understand the appeal of him as Spider-Man. Like, I'm not questioning, like, what was he the first? No, I get that. I was there. I fucking went to go see it in the theater when it came out.
Technically, he wasn't the first.
He was the first big screen Spider-Man. Yes, he was.
Well, the other one
big
was
screen Spider-Man.
He
was the first.
Hold on. The guy from
Nicholas Hammond was not
No.
on the big screen. It was a television show.
Well, no, there was a TV movie of that.
Once again,
Still
TV movie. What the fuck are you trying to sneak by me here, Leo?
Carrie says the youth group leader comment was on point, and C2 says Venom is not part of the MCU. Yeah, he can't be, but maybe in the future it could happen.
Listen, there will be a symbiote in the MCU that will become the Venom of the MCU. That is what we saw at the end of No Way Home when what's his face there, Eddie Brock was in MCU's universe. He was drinking and being served by an actor who plays one of the British football players in Ted Lasso, and then he got pulled back to his universe. He just disappeared. But after he left without paying his bill, apparently, there was a little droplet of the symbiote on the bar. And when you're kind of like, oh, look at that. It's just boom. Okay. And
I'm
then
waiting for the shirts, Carrie.
It starts to move of its own accord, which is an indication to us as the audience that, oh crap, this is the symbiote. And considering that the Venom symbiote had already stated previously at the end of the other movie, Venom, that Venom Let There Be Carnage, that it had a hive mind, and it had basically manifestations or incarnations in multiple realities. That lines right up. So they've already set the precedent for this being a version of Venom that will arise.
But since it's the same symbiote, isn't it then therefore the same Venom?
No, it's not. Think of it like this. It's all a hive mind.
It's like the Borg.
but different. Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
Borg. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's
they
a
are
great way.
distinctive but the same.
We are Venom. You will be assimilated.
I mean, it's not far off, really.
No, it's really
We
not.
must add your distinctiveness to our own. But yeah, I do think that they are lining up to have Venom be a big baddie in the MCU with Tom Holland Spider-Man. And my hope, and I'm not a huge Venom fan, but if you're gonna do it right. And that means take your time,
Yeah,
slow burn it.
you need to build up,
It'd be
Holland's
great if
Spider-Man
like
story.
you get that hand at the end of one of the movies, like you
Well,
did in the comic book.
here's the thing, right? Think about this. We saw in the end credit sequence there that little droplet of symbiote remained in the MCU. Okay. What else happened at the actual end of Spider-Man No Way Home with Peter Parker? What did we see? Where was he when we last saw him before the credits rolled in No Way Home? What was he doing?
I
Don't
don't
remember.
know. Was he
Okay.
going back to school?
We saw him moving into a crappy little one
yeah, that's
room
right.
place, right? And we saw him with an old Singer sewing machine, and he made himself like a lycra blue and red classic Spider-Man suit, shiny spandex, and we see him jump out in the middle of a little bit of a small snowstorm in winter, and he's jumping and swinging between all the buildings and everything, doing his woohoo, yahoo, and just really truly enjoying his abilities as Spider-Man without the suits that have been provided by Stark. Okay, that means it's finally him Peter was at the donut shop, but then after the donut shop, we saw how he was getting set up for his life. We saw that he had a GED study book because all of his records would have disappeared. He would have needed to get his GED in order to say he was a high school graduate.
Yep.
And he makes the costume, and then we see him jumping around in a very cool sequence. It's the most classic looking version of Spider-Man we've ever seen it on the big screen all together. The implication of that combined with the end credits scene with Tom Hardy and the symbiote staying in the MCU, Peter Parker just has a cloth suit now. And he was used to having Stark tech. So what happens when the symbiote finds Peter Parker? Well, he's going to think it's fucking great because it's going to be very similar, if not better than the Stark tech he was using previously. And he's going to love it and keep using it. And I feel like they should make that their trilogy. He's Spider-Man for a little bit, then the symbiote finds him, and it's just like a cool, very classic looking black suit like we originally got out of Secret Wars. And then over the course of the next couple of movies, like we see the whole symbiote it's actually a parasite, trying to take him over. And then eventually he tries to separate it, and they introduce an actual MCU version of Eddie Brock, who's a little bit more convincing than we had in Spider-Man 3. No offense to Topher Grace. And then we get a full-on Venom who has ties to Spider-Man through his origin. And we get the full-blown Spider-Man Venom throwdown / begrudging friendship eventually that people have wanted to see for a couple of decades. I think that's best case scenario, and it makes sense to me. I can't, if you have a thing that ends up becoming a super powerful suit for Peter Parker, it makes perfect sense that you end the movie that Peter Parker is in for a while with him not having a special suit anymore, because then it makes the symbiote make sense.
Yeah,
so I honestly think, I think that's where they're going with it.
And it would be great to see Peter with this black suit for a while.
Yeah,
well, it would be great to see this Peter, not just with the black suit, but also how it would affect his attitude, because this Peter has always been like hey, I'm a nice kid and I'm smart and I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to help people. And what does this do to him? How does it affect him? And not like fucking putting his hair down on a fucking My Chemical Romance style and start snapping and bumping his hip and fucking dancing to weird jazz numbers in the middle of clubs and goddamn cover of Afternoon.
I still love that scene. I don't care.
I hate that scene. And you know what? I can tell you, I honestly think that Sam Raimi hated that scene too. He hated everything.
Sure.
No, he hated everything about Venom. That's why.
Oh yeah, he was forced to put Venom into that.
Yeah, and I think that was a foolish idea. Sam Raimi came from the 60s and 70s reading Spider-Man. He was not part of the generation that thought Venom was all that in a bag of chips. I think if you had kept Sandman and Harry as like your two villains in Spider-Man 3, it would have been a great way to round out that trilogy. And we definitely would have gotten a Spider-Man 4. But shoehorning Venom in there, that was straight up a money grab move to get butts in the seats and to sell Venom toys. That's it. And I honestly do believe, I have nothing to back this up. It's pure speculation on my part, but I honestly believe that Topher Grace was hired as Eddie Brock, was cast as Eddie Brock in that movie because he was likely one of the final frontrunners to play Peter Parker in Spider-Man back in 2001. And he was not given the same kind of deal that like Michael J. Fox was when he did Back to the Future while being on Family Ties. Fox straight up was like, no, you are on that 70s show and that's what you're going to do. And I think that played a large part in why Topher Grace wanted to leave that 70s show.
So Carrie says, oh, wow, I don't think it had hit me so completely hard that he's completely wiped himself out of any contract with anyone else from the Avengers. He's not even on their radar and will have the most interesting insights as to what they've been doing and what they will be doing from his perspective. So that's the one thing that confuses me. Like, why he would need to get his GED again, because people were wiped of not his existence, right? It was just that
Peter Parker. No one remembers Peter Parker. So what's confusing about that?
I thought it was nobody remembers Peter Parker was Spider-Man, but it's
nobody remembers Peter Parker. Hold on, wait. Let me get this straight. You watched No Way Home and you saw him talk to his girlfriend and best friend who didn't recognize him as a person, right? And you're like, oh man, that's because they don't remember Spider-Man. What?
No, I'm back. No, you're right.
Take another sip of fucking coffee, bro. Like,
I don't mind if I do.
I'm just saying, like, I know, and I understand. Like, I lock on to details and I don't fucking forget things. I know, but like, that was such an important plot point.
It was.
No Way Home.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
That's like watching Spider-Man, like the first Spider-Man, being like, so he just really likes spiders? Is that what it is?
I have to say, after
he was bitten by a fucking spider. Did you miss that part? Oh, is that why he like went ow when he was at that lab? Yeah, that's why he went ow at the lab.
He hit his knee.
I saw a funny meme the other day. I was talking about how all three Spider-Man from the movies, how they all got bit by this like menacing spider, but none of them went to the hospital. They all just like suffered it out.
Okay, anybody who says that, all right,
it was a meme.
Well, no. I'm just saying, like, even if it was a meme, I just want to say this, all right, and I'm saying this as in 2 days I will be a 41-year-old man. Okay,
congratulations.
Thank you. I made it this far, and as a 41-year-old man, I remember being a 15 and 16-year-old boy. If you've ever watched a 15 or 16-year-old boy, let alone spoken with them, which is a caveat emptor when it comes to that anyway, just full of attitude, like all eyes and elbows and think they know everything.
You're invincible at that age.
Invincible.
So I myself definitely like went around and did stupid shit that if I tried now would absolutely kill me. Absolutely, without a doubt. And it lines up with how a teenage boy thinks about himself being invincible. Even if he's like a fucking nerd, you know, teenagers think they're going to live forever. Why would he go to the hospital? Why would he tell an adult like, "Oh God, no, if I tell them I got
I'm
bit by a
afraid I'm going to
spider."
get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I tell them I got bit by a spider, then they're not going to let me like visit that lab again.
Yeah.
And like they're going to watch everything I do when it comes to the science stuff I like to do. No. I'll just like put a Band-Aid over it. I'll go home.
It'll be fine.
And I'll sleep it off. It's not a big deal. I'll just squirt some Windex on it. It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
You know? And that lines up completely. Like that's exactly what a teenager would do. And I never questioned that. Even, you know, as a child, I was like, yeah, I'd do the same thing. I wouldn't say a fucking word.
So Tom says the main 3 cast members of Spider-Man 3 didn't seem thrilled about hyping the third film when they were interviewed by Carson Daly on Total Request Live on MTV.
That's
because the movie sucked. It fucking defied physics. It sucked and blew at the same exact time. Thanks, Avia Rod. You really did the world a favor. You know, I mean, I will say, isn't it crazy to think that, like, if they hadn't thrown Venom in the mix in that, right? And Spider-Man 3 had been a resounding success, critically and financially, that we would have gotten Spider-Man 4 and John Malkovich was lined up to play the Vulture.
That would have been cool.
Like, Spider-Man, I am the Vulture. Fear my wings. Yes. I'm a very fearsome man.
I think John Malkovich is a very menacing kind of character.
Oh, he is, but he does have that sort of soft, disconnected.
No, he does. He did that
voice.
very well.
He's a treasure.
I'm John Malkovich. I was in Steppenwolf Theater. Yes. Good friends I have there. Okay, thanks, John.
Oh, that
I told you not to let him drink before the interview.
Did you see him in Space Force?
No.
Yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I think the first thing I ever really noticed him in when I was a child was the movie Making Mr. Right. It's a weird one, which, I mean, it's John Malkovich, so what a shock.
Yeah.
But yeah, he plays a scientist who's created an android to pilot a space shuttle going way out into like a long ass mission. He makes the android look exactly like him. And then the android starts to like develop human emotion and curiosity, and the robot ends up being like more human than its creator. And by the end of it, the robot stays on Earth. It fell in love and, you know, is now in a relationship with a woman. And the scientist is like, well, fuck it. And he gets on the space shuttle and he's like, I'm just going to go. And he knows he's going to die, but what an amazing adventure it's going to be before that point.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Well, he plays a scientist in Space Force. And it's really funny. He plays it perfectly. Like, you know, he's smarter than everybody else, and everybody else is just a dumbass. And it's you definitely get a chance to check it out. It's Boobs on the Moon. Boobs on the Moon.
Who do you think you are? I think I'm the man that's smarter than you. Yes. That's my John Malkovich.
It's very close to your Leo, to tell you the truth.
No, Leo's a
oh,
little
actually,
more,
sorry.
Leo's more like this. He's a little more like this, and you gotta kind of throw a little bit of a New York spin on some of the vowel sounds. You know, like Brandon would say awesome, but Leo says awesome. You know, it's little things. We got a lot of awesome people with a lot of awesome things, with a lot of awesome shows.
Charger's losing it. Carrie says, I used to worship him. He's so strange at times when he is showing off his clothing, like and was wearing one of his own suits in pale apricot. I think it was more of him than he's ever been. Tom says, at the time, there's supposed to be 6 Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, the 6th film involving the Sinister Six. And clothing line, Carrie. Thank you. And,
I could have been in the Sinister Six.
just want to say during the day, I speak with a little more gravitas. It's just,
I could be the Vulture. Sorry.
During the end of the day, I'm normally wiped. It's my job involves a lot of meetings, which is just.
I get it, man. I get it. I'm training someone, and I think I'm doing it for like the next month or so. And I spent the past couple days just like talking for like 8.5 hours straight. And by like hour 8, I was sitting there like, it sounded like I was like 15 again. Like, Dad, your friends are here.
There's some days I'll have like 6 hours of meetings. It's just insane.
Nothing like remote work and still like, okay, like, let's be real. We know this could have been an email. Can you please stop? Stop it.
It's when you have to present like I can't really say anything, but I had to do a big presentation last Friday, and a lot of higher ups in the room, and it was a little nerve-wracking, but I crushed it.
There you go. That's the spirit. I totally crushed it. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, I know this is totally off topic, but normally when I'm doing a presentation
on this show, never.
Nah.
I'll write a script for everything I'm gonna say. My boss was like, I that way I have, all my afflictions down right, and I have all my points that I'm gonna hit. I'm not gonna miss anything. And then my boss suggested, well, maybe you just do bullet points and it sounds more natural. So I decided to totally change up the way I do meetings the day before. And it was like, I did like 5 different dry runs, and I was crashing and burning every single time. And luckily I didn't during the actual meeting. But
I feel like when I do my dry runs like that, I always crash and burn because there's nobody to actually get the reaction off of. So I'm sitting there in my own head instead of really doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Carrie said, "Hey, therapy night. It's all good." Actually, I had my wife, in here as I'm giving a presentation to, so I can have some result. And
okay.
Yeah, even in front of her, crash and burn.
All right. Well, then I've got nothing for you, Leo.
I had my old friend Johnny next to me. You could call him John. He lets me call him Johnny. Johnny Walker. Yeah. Some people like to call him Liquid Courage.
Yeah. He's a nice shade of blue.
Oh, it's the best.
There you go.
God. Johnny Walker, smooth. Yeah, it is, but it's so good.
We had a programming group one time, and the owner of the place we were meeting at had Johnny Walker Blue, and normally we would have some a little after the programming group, but we had a good day, so we decided to drink it during the programming session.
Nice.
I have to tell you, trying to program when you're smashed, oh my god, that is such a
I can imagine.
I don't know about Johnny Walker Blue, but I know about Blue Alien, and Blue Alien does me very good. That's in my pen here.
Yes, I am also a fan of smoking ink. What?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to try to bring this train back on the...
talking about flicking your bick. Holy shit, kid.
So a couple news
what do you like better, black or blue? Both. I dig it.
Okay, a couple news items I had. The True Blood reboot was canceled. Didn't even know they were doing a reboot.
Didn't know.
No, not that.
I actually asked my fiance a few weeks ago if we should rewatch it, and she gave me the look of why. What's wrong with you? And I was like, we have nothing to watch right now. I'm like, what? I don't know what to do with myself. And
Did
I
you watch?
usually go back and rewatch things like
Wait,
Game
wait,
of
wait,
Yeah,
wait.
but
Thrones.
True Blood, dude. Like, I mean, just
I only
you don't have a
rewatched it
can of
once.
you don't have a can of paint and a brush somewhere where you could just like
I think
put a
it's
swath
because
on the wall and just watch that dry
Wait,
instead.
hold on though. You have nothing to watch. You're all caught up on Yellowstone and
yes, all caught up on
the
Yellowstone.
prequels.
1823, 1944,
Did you watch the latest
1672.
1923s?
Oh no, did they restart?
Yeah, there's a couple episodes up.
Oh, okay. I did
Yeah,
not know that.
it's
All
really
right.
good. How about Poker Face? You all caught up on Poker Face?
I've never even started it.
Oh my god, that's so good.
It's not that good.
I'm
Yeah,
not
it
into
is.
Lady Gaga.
It's not that
Poker
good.
Face is so good.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
not. It's
Yeah,
really
it is.
not. You've seen it. You've seen it a million times. You saw it in every fucking show where there's a wanderer that goes from town to town during the 70s and early 80s.
Oh,
yeah.
Kung
It's
Fu.
dude, Kung Fu, The Incredible Hulk, The Fugitive.
Hmm.
You've fucking seen the show already. The conceit here is she can tell when people lie. That's
Okay.
it. Yeah, that's it.
I enjoyed it. Jar Jar,
She's
you
on the
may
run.
enjoy it.
She's on the run from a casino
think
owner
so?
because
I'll try it.
because the casino owner's son fucking tried to swindle some folks and then he killed himself, so he blames her.
I'm
And so
like
she's
on
trying to
a
stay ahead of him. That's it.
75-25 with Leo. Like the Western stuff, which I thought I was not gonna enjoy at all. I was like, oh wow, this stuff's actually pretty good.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
the stuff that I thought I was gonna like, I was like, wow, this is horrible. But
What is it? Taylor Sheridan? Is that the
yeah,
guy?
yeah.
Yeah, he brought westerns back in a big time. But Poker Face, I would say give it a couple episodes, a couple episodes to try. It's
I watched the first 2 episodes.
it totally changes up. Well, it doesn't totally change. She's
I
still
gave
going
it
from town to town.
I gave
but
it 2 episodes. That's more than 2 hours that I dedicated
Yeah,
to
if
checking
you
it
can't
out.
get me after 2 episodes, that's
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
one I understand.
I probably would have tried to go past the second episode, except once I finished the second episode, I'm like, okay, so I see exactly what this show is. Like, I've literally watched Bill Bixby do this as David Banner. I've seen The Fugitive do this while he was searching for the one-armed man. Like, there's nothing new in that story. And the fucked up thing about it is there's so many people that have no fucking idea what those shows are that they think it's wildly original. Like that's honest to God what it is. Like everyone's like, and here's the thing, I adore Natasha Lyonne. Like I do. I've liked her ever since I saw The Slums of Beverly Hills and But I'm a Cheerleader. She's great. She is talented. And I love the Peppermint Patty voice. She's cute as a button and tough as nails. I dig all of it. This though, nah. I just it's not something that rather I should say it is something that I've seen in several iterations and incarnations already. I'm good. I'm all set. I'm fine.
Well, totally to each their own. It's
Yeah, it's just, but that's my, like, to each their own. But all I'm saying is people need to stop talking. They should stop talking about like it's the wheel has been reinvented. That's not the case here. Like, I don't see anything that's that innovative. It's the same, wandering good guy theme. The difference is instead of being like someone who was trained in kung fu as a child, or is trying to clear his own name for his wife's murder, or he has a raging monster that is kind of a good guy, but kind of a bad guy, and is constantly being chased. Every single one of them, for the most part, she, like I said, can tell when people lie. She's on the run from a casino owner that's trying to kill her. And wherever she stops, somebody does some horrific shit that she figures out they're lying about, and she solves whatever the fucking issue is. Like, it's basically like The Incredible Hulk / Highway to Heaven meets Columbo.
I've watched all those.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Guess what? You fucking seen Poker Face, which is what I said at the top of this. Literally the thing I said.
So Jar Jar, you got homework. Give a couple episodes a try.
All right.
I'd say
I'll be
more.
back next Wednesday to either be like Brandon or to be like Leo and be like,
I'd say give the first
it
4 a
wasn't
try
bad.
because it
Oh,
changes.
see, look, he's fucking doubling his numbers now. You know what? Give the first 8 a try. It's 8 fucking episodes.
Oh.
Actually, they're only up to 7 right now, so it's
Isn't it gonna be an 8 episode season though? That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know.
I think it's gonna be 8 episodes altogether. That's why I said what I said. Maybe
Yeah,
it's 10.
there's they're doing what is it? Not really cameos, but they've introduced some pretty cool characters along the way.
Featured players.
Featured
say.
players. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess there's gonna be 11. 11 episodes.
Yeah, the
I
guy
am
that lives-
rewatching Andor.
Oh,
I know. I like to torture myself.
well,
The first 4 episodes are rough.
I think it's going to play a bigger part in
I do too.
the storylines, because it's going to touch upon like Bad
Sorry,
Batch.
real quick, poker face. It looks like it's going to be 10 episodes for this season.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because
so next week, Leo will tell you to give 10 episodes a
Yeah,
shot.
10
Yeah.
episodes.
Just give 10 episodes a shot and see if you like it.
the guy who played Hellboy is supposed to be coming on.
David Harbour, Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman.
I like how it's the guy who played Hellboy and not the guy
You
who
got
played
2.
Vincent in Beauty and the Beast. Like, how much did I just date myself right there? So many people that would be younger that could hear that and be like, "What?"
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are.
I'm pretty sure Beast's name was
in
the
the
Beast.
dark.
I've seen that cartoon. Thank you. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't doubt you've seen the cartoon. I don't think you've seen the CBS show starring Linda Hamilton.
Live action, motherfuckers.
You mean the lady from Terminator? Yes, that is another way to put that. Absolutely.
Okay, so I know this is really up our wheelhouse. But in Young and the Restless.
Oh
news,
yeah, you were telling me this. Okay, let's do it.
What? Okay.
Young and the
no,
Restless.
apparently the co-executive producer fired the entire writing staff and said that he can do it on his own.
I mean, I have no
I think
skin in that
Brandon
game.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no familiarity with the long-running soap opera.
No, neither do I. But the Wrap is reporting co-executive producer and head writer Josh Griffith has sacked all 5 writers that comprise the show's breakdown writing staff. Multiple individuals with knowledge of the situation told the Wrap. According to one insider, Griffith said eliminating the breakdown writing staff, those writers responsible for mapping out storylines across multiple episodes, was a cost-cutting move, and that he will take the task of writing breakdowns himself.
That's a lot to put on one man's plate to take on an entire universe. I don't know how intricate the Young and the Restless universe is.
I mean, it's been on for forever and a fucking day, man.
Have you seen a soap opera, Jar Jar?
I have. I used to watch them with my mom quite a bit. General Hospital. I wasn't Young and Restless, but
My
like
stories are on.
G&H,
Stories, yeah.
General
grandmother
Hospital,
used to
One
say
Life
that.
to Live, All My Children. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's that difficult of a job to. They could probably just throw the actors up there and there say like, "Hey,
Whoa, that was mean.
sorry."
Yikes.
Not that difficult of a job.
Wowzers.
There was this one that I actually enjoyed quite a bit that had like witchcraft in it and stuff. Passions, yeah. That one was interesting.
I don't
There
know
was, like,
shit
a
about
little
anything,
person-
but my sister watched that show. That's the only reason I know
Oh, it
what
was
that show was.
wild.
Yeah,
It-
she taped it and shit all the time, and I could not have fucking cared less. It's
Oh,
just
there was
it's
some
one of those things where like I
insane
walked by
storylines.
and saw it like a couple of times. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what? Never mind. I don't care. And like over the course of like maybe a year and a half, I caught like a total of 20 minutes of that show, but it was 20 really separate, disparate, weird minutes.
Oh, it's
And,
always a WTF moment. Like you look over, what?
yeah. And it's like my sister watched Dawson's Creek and would record that like on VHS so she could make sure she didn't miss any episodes. And I've literally seen like 13 minutes of that show all together. And like the one fucking scene that I absolutely like saw because it just happened to be on as I was passing through the room was the character of Jack reading a poem in front of his classroom, and he's talking about like a man's body, and everyone's like, dude, you're like gay, right? And he's like, I'm not gay. And they're like, your poem though, bro, I mean, it's pretty gay. And that was it. And years later, I'm talking with a buddy of mine who loves Dawson's Creek, and he's like, blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh, and like Jack read a poem, and then it ended up realizing he was gay and came out of the closet. He goes, I thought you didn't watch the show. I'm like, literally the only thing I know about that show. That is it. Like, I know the characters' names because, like, how could you not be a teenager and not hear people say them? It was Dawson, Joey, Pacey.
You're good at this.
Hold on. I don't know what Michelle Williams' character, Jen, maybe? I don't know.
We had one of the people from Dawson's Creek on a long time ago.
For Creator Spotlight?
Before that, it was Dorkening.
Oh, no kidding.
I was right. Her name was Jen. Holy shit.
Hal Ozen. That's who we had on.
Who they play?
No idea. I can't remember.
Good.
Wow.
I was trying to take that somewhere.
It was a very impressive interview. Powerful stuff.
Yeah. So this is totally going on the realm of dorky. So if you're looking for something good to listen to or watch, because they have the video version, the latest episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, he interviews Eric Weinstein, who is a physicist, and he starts talking about like UFOs and stuff like that. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But he gets like
You lost me at Joe Rogan, but
Thank you. Yeah, Jar Jar and I are on the same page on this one. I appreciate your enthusiasm and your candor, Leo, but with all due respect and with all the love I can pull deep from the cockles of where my heart should be, shut the fuck up. I don't want to talk about the Joe Rogan Experience. The only Joe Rogan Experience I want is none.
I have yet to watch any of his podcasts, and I'm proud to say that.
Yeah.
The only Joe Rogan I ever watched was on Fear Factor, and that's where I'd like to keep Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I didn't even do that because I have no time for fucking reality shows whatsoever. I've read Fahrenheit 451 and 1984 as a teenager, and yeah, I'm good. I see where that's at. If I wanted to I saw him on news radio. That was how I knew who Joe Rogan was, the idiot fucking custodian. But if I wanted to like watch and listen to what like a douchebag will do, I'll go hang out in the feminine hygiene aisle at Walgreens on the corner of the street where I live. I'll just stare at a box of Summer's Eve. Yeah. I probably have a better time in that atmosphere for however long an episode of that godforsaken podcast may be than actually listening to an episode of that godforsaken podcast.
Yeah.
This episode's 4 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm listening for the physicist.
Who is that for? Never mind. I'm just sorry. Never mind. I shouldn't talk. We talked 3 hours about DC and James Gunn, like
Eric Weinstein.
Eric Weinstein.
Yeah, I've gone deep down the rabbit hole of like UFOs and stuff like that. So it's
yeah,
well,
but
at
I mean,
least on that subject, I can understand.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, I get being into that topic, but like, you know, that doesn't mean you have to listen to everything that involves that shit. You know, just saying.
No, but that's how I found. What the fuck was his name? He does the Agent Apocalypse. Did you guys watch that?
No, I don't even know what. Did you say Agent Apocalypse? Is that what he just said? Did I hear that right?
Ancient Apocalypse. Graham Hancock. Ancient.
Okay.
Yeah. It's on Netflix. It's 8 episode.
Agent Apocalypse sounds like a radio drama. I'm like, I mean, I'm kind of interested. What are you talking about?
No,
But
Ancient Apocalypse. So it talks about the missing part of like the human civilization, like how our civilization is more than like the 5,000 years old that they say it is. But one of the things they cover is there's an event when like the ice age ended and the oceans went up like 400 feet, and how that like possibly could have wiped.
human achievement.
Oh yeah, yep, totally. Tom says all the shows on the Dorkening Podcast Network is 100 times. Oh, thank you, Joe. Tom, thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Joe.
Or
Jesus
Tom.
Christ. Yeah. Ladies and
That's
gentlemen,
great,
Joe
Joe.
Rogan. Thank you, Tom Dog.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. So this is really good news for the Flash.
What is that you listen
Oh,
to
you
the
didn't
Joe
know?
Rogan Experience? I'm fucking just no segue. No, just jump right in. Yeah, so I Ancient Apocalypse, and there were like 400-foot waves like 6,000 years ago, just
All
probably
of our
wiped out the fucking
civilization
Library of
gone.
Alexandria.
By
That's how we got the myth of Atlantis, probably. But this is good news for the Flash. What?
the way, it wasn't 400-foot waves. It was the sea level rose 400 feet.
Oh, thank you. That's a very important distinction to make. What is this Flash thing you were talking about?
So the Flash is set to premiere 2 months prior to the release at CinemaCon.
So hold on.
What?
It's set to premiere at CinemaCon 2 months prior to its theatrical release. Is that what you mean?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. That was ambiguous the way you said it. Okay, so it's gonna show CinemaCon.
CinemaCon.
That's where the vendors and stuff go, right? Like you have to be in the actual like theater industry for that, correct?
Well, let's find out.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like for actual cinemas. Like, they kind of talk about the big things that like companies, movie studios,
like the
talk
theater
about,
owners and stuff.
yeah,
like that,
they
and
meet up
production
and
companies.
the production studios, they show a bunch of stuff like, hey, these are some of the big things you can kind of like plan on these being like bigger like audiences.
Oh
You'll
yeah,
push
Yep,
more
you're right.
tickets and concessions. That's what CinemaCon is, right? I believe that's what.
The official convention of the National Association of Theater Owners.
Get
Look
us
at
some press
me.
passes, Leo. Get us
You're
in
not a
there.
fucking theater owner.
No.
We're press though.
press passes are very difficult to come by when it comes to CinemaCon because of such things like the Flash.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's also going to be in Vegas.
It's usually in Vegas, I think.
Yeah, most cons.
Yeah,
are.
they do a lot of large cons like that out in the
Uh,
desert.
Yeah, April 24th through the 27th.
Yeah.
But
I look for, you know what? Just make sure to keep your eyes on 4chan the way you usually do. And
yeah, well, Reddit. So, but
yes, Reddit.
4chan
Wink.
leaks on to Reddit.
Wink.
But them releasing it there, 2 months early, that means they have a lot of faith in the movie, I would presume.
Listen,
I think the movie's gonna be great.
Me
Yeah,
too.
same here.
I my hopes are very high. I'm ready to have them dashed, like, because I don't normally get that like happy about seeing a movie coming out.
It's
I love
been a while
movies.
for myself.
Yeah, and I love movies. Don't get me wrong, but there hasn't been anything that's really like kind of gotten me going. And I was a humongous fan of the Flash since I was a young kid. He was probably my second favorite hero for the longest time, behind Superman. And shortly after discovering the Flash, for a couple of years, that's when I found Booster Gold. I can tell you it was like 1990, first time I ever saw anything for Booster Gold, and I was like, all right, I like this guy. There was just something about him. I dug the whole like uniform that had tech, and he went back in time and had this little robot. my whole thing always was like, I just wish he wasn't such a dick, like such a
Mm.
dink. And thankfully that was corrected like 25 years later. But yeah, the Flash, man, I want it to be so good, and so far, like that's the feeling I have. Like the Flash deserves to have a good movie, just as a character. He was the character that brought in the Silver Age. It was Barry Allen as the Flash. He replaced the Golden Age Flash, who was oh my god, Jay Garrick. And right on the heels of the Flash debuting was when the Fantastic Four came out in Marvel.
Yeah.
And that is between the two of them, that is the full-on birth of the Silver Age of comics. And we've gotten a couple of versions of the Fantastic Four. We're about to get our third official version in movies, and we are just about to get the very first Flash theatrical film. And it looks like they took it really seriously. Andy Muschietti looks like he's done a pretty good job just visually so far. I'm ready for it. I don't care about Michael Keaton's Batman being in it. It has no bearing on my excitement for this movie.
I mean,
That
it'll be fun with that, but like,
yeah, exactly. Like that's fun, but not what my enjoyment of that hinges upon.
No, this is for me. This is the real start of the DC universe, and like, uh, I myself haven't gone to the theater in quite a while, and I'm planning on going opening weekend for this. Like, I'm that excited. I'm like, oh my god, the what this could do for the DC universe is huge, and
Yeah.
I know everybody has their feelings on the actor playing the Flash, but I think sorry, I think they got a bad rap, went through some horrible stuff, and had a lot of people around them that were not helpful, and I think they need the help that hopefully that they're getting now. And I think everybody with their jokes and stuff on them, I think it's a really tough time for that person. And don't get me wrong, some of the stuff that they've alleged to do, it's troublesome. It's really serious stuff. But like, uh, I don't know if being the people out in the peanut gallery is what's necessary for that right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I hadn't really thought of it in regards to being surrounded by yes people.
Mm,
No one to actually say, "Hey, maybe slow down.
yeah, what the
Why don't
fuck are
you
you
not
doing?
why don't you not do that?" That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. But I'll say I agree with you. Uh, the stuff that Ezra Miller has done, even though they were dealing with some pretty heady mental health issues, that needs to be addressed. And there may very well be some ramifications for
Mm,
that. And that's not to say there shouldn't be.
no,
Responsibility and accountability needs to be taken.
100%.
But the mocking of people for what are clear mental health issues,
Yeah,
that needs to like stop. And that's not just for Ezra Miller. I have said the same exact thing about Kanye West. I truly, truly like want him to get and continue to get the
yeah,
help that he needs, like the work that he has to do on a regular basis. Um, I know a lot of people like, oh, he's done this shit again. Like he says the craziest stuff, but like it's not funny to me. Like he's clearly someone that is in dire need of help because shit is just in a downward spiral, and like that's such a dangerous way to be when you are already aware of these issues that you may have. Not being therapized and not taking medication properly and just going about and living your life saying like this is me, they're trying to stop me from being me. It's like Not exactly. Like that's not quite it. It's where people are maybe trying to make sure that you continue being you, because otherwise you're going to be either a babbling madman or dead.
Yeah.
You didn't by chance see the latest South Park, have you?
No, I've never really watched South Park regularly. I've gone through spurts. A little goes a long way sometimes.
It's very Kanye heavy. This
Yeah,
episode. Yeah.
they probably rip right into him, I'm sure.
They turn him into a Cupid that goes around shooting arrows at people, turn them into like Nazis and stuff.
Interesting take.
Yeah.
Certainly different.
So Carrie, sorry I didn't get to this sooner. Is that the one with the guy who goes around to dig sites and argues with other archaeologists about whether they can prove that there were buildings made thousands of years prior to what we currently believe? And this took so long to write that we've done 2 subjects.
Yeah, now we're like 12.
Yeah. So essentially, Carrie, no, basically he's putting out theories about what could possibly happen. So he goes and investigates certain areas like Bimini Road down in Florida and whatnot. But archaeologists call him dangerous and they try to shut him down. But he's just putting out there, his thoughts on, he's an investigative journalist.
So hold on, let me get this straight though. Like studied, learned people who have dedicated their lives to becoming purveyors of ancient history and seriously put in countless hours and numerous years of work and dedication into that, say this man is dangerous and you think he's onto something.
You'd have to watch the show to...
No, I don't think I would, Leo. I don't think I would. I mean, if there was a fucking leper hanging around outside of a fucking park and there were a bunch of doctors like, that dude's fucking dangerous, and the leper's like, am I dangerous, or are you guys just forming a group that you're trying to protect all the knowledge you want to keep from us, like how to cure leprosy? I wouldn't be like, that leper dude sounds like he's onto something. I'd be like, no, fuck that shit. I'm gonna listen to those people. Does that make sense?
You're joining the mob, Brandon.
No, what he says does make sense where, the areas that he's covering, archaeologists have looked at it and said, oh, it's nothing. But like Bimini Road, if you look at it, it's obviously man-made. And they're saying, oh, it's just the shelf of the wall just broke, but like all the space, you'd have to look up Bimini Road. And
I know what Bimini Road is, man.
Okay.
It's like a fucking stone formation underwater.
Yeah.
Okay.
So stuff like that, where he's going to different places, where it's, just, I'm enjoying it. I think there's a possibility that we're older than 5,000 years old, our civilization anyway.
I mean, maybe if we are, being what is being around an extra like 2, 3, 4,000 years mean at this point? Like, cool, we fucked up and we're here still. Like,
yep.
I mean, if we're that old, if we're that much older, then whatever. I mean, it just means we've this is as far as we've gotten either way.
It's Battlestar Galactica. This is
this has happened before and will happen again.
Oh yes. Cylons are being made right
Stupid
now.
Cylons, they're the reason why we're sensitive to radiation.
But it's pretty cool. You think about how many my brain is like fried.
How many
different cultures have a flood myth, and it's not just
it's almost like every culture saw a really rainy day a couple times.
For 40 years. No, 40 days. 40
one of the
nights.
things, so it's not just Graham Hancock in it. He talks to other scientists and historians, and one guy that he speaks to talks about like at the end of the ice age, rather than taking thousands of years for it to like end, that they think it probably ended in weeks, that a possible hail of meteor strikes melted the
What?
Haven't they? Nah, I don't think so. I mean, haven't they pulled literal ice cores, like straight up ice cores from Antarctica, and studied them and found shit
Yeah, I
that
found
goes
like
down and
years.
shows how long it took for the climate to change. That's crap. That ain't right.
well, you're talking about Antarctica. The ice age was
No, yeah, that's still a record of how the entire world was. That's why they drilled ice cores out of Antarctica so they could see
Because
what the
it's so
shift
well
in the
preserved.
environment. Yeah, exactly. It's so unaffected by the rest of everything that's happened all over the world that it is basically a perfect record of what the climate was like throughout different periods. And they've drilled and taken out ice cores to study like thousands of years ago. That's how they know certain things about the amounts of time. So like that whole meteor strike and the ice age was only a few weeks, balderdash, bunkum, and malarkey.
well, something did happen 12,000 years ago where there was an impact at some point. Because there's this there's this layer of ash so far down that it's at like the layer of it's like 11,800 years, where there was a large event that caused a lot of burning across the world.
Yeah, a volcano might have erupted. I mean, if there was any kind of like super volcano that went off, that would have affected shit all over the world for
Oh yeah.
years. And honestly, if there was a bunch of ash, that I mean, you get a lot of stuff that plumes up into the atmosphere. That's part of what helps cause an ice age.
Yep.
Also, because
Blocks out the sun.
blocks out
Yeah.
the sun.
Well, that's the thing they said is like it melted, and then we had like 1,000 years of like deep freeze or something like that. Yeah. Who knows what happened, but it's it's interesting stuff.
Interesting is definitely
I'm finding it interesting.
a good way to describe it. That's all I was gonna say.
But look at it like a comic book, Leo.
Yeah.
Don't take it as a grain of salt, or with a
Yeah.
grain
Oh
of
yeah,
salt.
yeah. No,
but-
no. I just I keep my mind open, It's,
Okay.
Like watch it while you wear a fucking tinfoil hat.
Yes.
Carrie says he does have some very convincing arguments, but many of the others brings up things that he kind of ignores. He has little of the zeitgeist feeling with the telling viewers that other archaeologists are battling him down because they don't want his opinion spread. I'm not telling you to not enjoy it, but reading more on the guy who is refuting him is really interesting as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like they are probably battling him down because they don't want his opinions spread because his opinions are fucking stupid and dangerous. That's the kind of shit that fuels idiots that think the earth is flat.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Wait, it's not?
I still.
There is
cannot-
nothing funnier on the face of this round planet to me than hearing fucking moron flat earthers argue about the earth being flat on satellite radio.
Have you ever
I
joined any
want
of
you
those
to
groups?
think hard about that. On satellite radio,
Oh, I know.
they are
That is
arguing the
great.
earth is flat.
Oh my
They have
God.
a special on Netflix where they
Yes.
proved themselves wrong.
Oh my God, that was so hilarious.
It was great.
Yeah, they go, okay, we're gonna have two boards so far apart, and they said, we're gonna shine a light through one, and they're both at like 14 feet above sea level. And when he shines the light, if we can't see it, that means there's a curvature, but we know we're gonna see it. He
'Cause
shines the
there's
light,
no
we
curvature.
can't see it. And the guy's like stops for a second there, and he's like,
Oh, we
maybe
did
you're
it wrong.
standing on a bush or something like that. Go a little higher. Oh, I see it now. Yeah, it's freaking hilarious.
Wow. Morons. Fucking
Okay, so the slap heard around the world.
Oh, Are we back on that?
We are.
Will
Why?
Smith. Back on
So yeah, there is now a crisis team in place at the Oscars for the first time in the 95 years of its history.
I'm baffled.
And if I cared about the Oscars, that would
Yeah,
really
that's
do it
true
for me.
too.
You know, like that. Like, I'd like to say that the slap that Will Smith doled out upon Chris Rock's face really made me care about what was happening at the Oscars last year. But even then, I would be lying. I didn't care. Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking fucked up that it happened. It shouldn't have. That much I cared about, but otherwise, like, oh, the Oscars, yeah, that's right. I think that was on this weekend. Great. Like, oh, there's a crisis team. Oh, good. They're gonna make sure Will Smith doesn't show up. Like,
Why don't they just have security so nobody can come up on stage when they're not supposed to?
Yeah.
Why did they not do anything when Will Smith did it? Like, that's why they're having a crisis team.
Yep.
Because now there's a precedent set.
Oh yeah, but
You know, if you don't like something a presenter says, just go up on stage and fucking slap him in the mouth.
Yeah.
No bigs.
or somebody where maybe their career is down a little bit. Oh, Will Smith got a lot of press when he slapped Chris Rock. I'm gonna see if I can do something similar.
I hope
His slap
nobody
was
is
so
that
effective
stupid.
that 5 minutes later he won an Oscar, guys.
Yeah, right.
What? I don't think that's how that works. No, it's exactly how it works. I saw it. It happened.
Cause and effect, man. Cause and
The
effect.
hard part
Let me tell you all
there's
about this
somebody
show.
in this world that believes it.
Ancient civilizations or whatever the fuck it is. This guy has some really good ideas.
Oh, geez. Yeah,
I'll tell you more about it later. I'm late for my Flat Earthers Anonymous meeting.
I'm not that crazy.
Yeah, when do you think? Actually, you know what? I don't know if I have time. I have my DVR is just clogged to the brim with Skinwalker Ranch. I gotta work on that a little bit.
That's coming back soon.
Oh, good. You know what? That's on me. I have no one to
That's
blame.
amazing to me that a show like that can get so many seasons. But like,
Dude, have you seen Curse of Oak Island?
I say the same thing about The Bachelor every fucking year.
oh my god, I accidentally started watching some of that.
Bachelor
even know.
or Curse of Oak Island?
Bachelor.
Oh.
I was flipping through and like got stuck for a second, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" And then I realized, and I ran. No good.
I like how you were like, "What the fuck is this?" And you like you see like a woman and 30 dudes, like roses.
Yeah.
What is it? Why is every guy coming up in a limo? I don't understand this
What
shit.
is happening here?
And then they're like, "Stay tuned for more from The Bachelor." You're like, "Oh god, no, it's that one." Ah!
Well, so I can understand, so many seasons of The Bachelor, but Curse of Oak Island is on season 10 right now.
All right. What's the Curse of Oak Island?
Why, Jeremy? God damn it.
Please tell me. I just want to know what the curse is. Don't tell me the show.
Okay, so Oak Island.
Oak Island.
Curse. Okay. It's the Curse of Oak Island. That's the name of it.
Curse of Oak.
Oka or Oak?
Oak.
Okay.
They've been searching for this treasure for 10 seasons.
10 seasons.
They've been digging holes for 10 seasons.
This is like searching
All right,
for
listen.
Sasquatch.
Here you go.
I'm like, how does a show get
Rick and Marty Legina, two brothers from Michigan with a lifelong interest in the mystery of Oak Island, renew efforts to discover the legendary treasure with sophisticated machinery. That's all you need to fucking know. That's it. We got it. It's been on since 2014.
All right, in 10 seasons, has anybody died or anything?
No, and
because there's not even a curse then.
No. So the curse,
no treasure or curse.
Hold on. So of like I don't know, like 400 years or something that they've been looking for this treasure, like, or 200 or something like that. Anyway, like something like 7 people have died looking for it, and when the last person dies, that's when the treasure will be found. So that's the curse. Like, so many people need to die in order for the treasure.
How many do we have a number on that? Can't we just bring a few people there and whack them?
Just like a sacrifice to.
Doesn't
What's so funny
doesn't
is
sound very Nova Scotian.
what's so funny is like they go over like the history of Oak Island and everything like that, and like how
It may
nobody.
very well be the Ark of the Covenant on this thing, man.
Well, that's one of the things that they say it could be.
What if
Oh
it's
my
the Holy
God.
Grail? Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
maybe. Yeah, fucking.
It's the 10 Commandments.
Okay, but
The
the
tablets are
the thing
here.
is that's so hilarious is there like one of the things they cover is like the history from the island and how like everybody's been searching for it, but yet there's a slave that earned his freedom like and became like the richest slave of like all time. He lived on the island and like bought most of the land on the island. Like, wouldn't that make you think that maybe he found a treasure? If
Or he
he
was
like,
a fucking incredibly gifted businessman.
Or
I mean,
something.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he was a freed man. He went to Canada. He fucking made some money and he bought some land. Sounds like he was probably pretty smart
It
with
was
what little money
farmland
he
too,
had to
wasn't
start
it?
with. Probably, I don't know.
So usually that's what everybody owned back then.
Yeah, but I mean, he made his way out of the United States into Nova Scotia, which is where Oak Island is, and he probably was good with money. Like he just.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like he lived where they're searching for the treasure, and then
Yeah.
he came across a very large wealth. And
Did he come across a large wealth, or did he make
Earn.
a large amount of money? Like that's the thing. Like everyone's like, he was a slave. How did he make that money? How he must have found it, or he could have been smart and industrious and said, "I'm gonna fucking make sure I'm smart with the money I have because I'm never gonna fucking go back to the type of life I had before." Like, I feel like that's a strong impetus for making a lot of money and holding on to it. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, but I don't want to jump to conclusions. Like he must have found money.
Tonight's been so educational. I'm loving this. Like, it's a good night to be on the show.
Just saying, man. Like, fucking, it's like the same kind of shit as like, oh, the pyramids, they must have been built by aliens.
Oh
it's like,
God.
really? Yeah, heaven forbid fucking North Africans figured out how to fucking build ramps to fucking have thousands of fucking slaves stack bricks. Think about that. I know they're huge blocks, and everyone's like, how would they move them? It's really easy. The North
Levers and
Africans, the
pulleys.
Egyptians can tell you when you've enslaved an entire race of people and forced them to do your bidding. It's not rocket science. Like, how did they build it in such a short time? Slave labor, water, and ramps. That's how they did it. They were an incredibly gifted people, like intelligent. There's a reason why Greece and Egypt were so horny for each other. They both loved math, straight up. Like, what? Hey, you Egyptian lady, what's pi? And she's like 3.14, and the guy's like, oh my God, I am so wrecked right now. Like that's how they flirted in ancient Greece and Egypt.
Okay, so one of the things they
Tell
say,
me more about your Pythagoras. Oh, don't worry, I will.
they say either he was a shrewd businessman or he came across wealth. So he
Either
What's more?
or.
What do you think is more fucking likely? Occam's razor, right? The simplest explanation is usually the right one. Do you think it's more likely he found a treasure?
He found One-Eyed Willie's treasure.
Like the fucking audacity too to be like, he was a freed slave. How would he have that much money? Once again, because he was a shrewd businessman and he had a hell of a fucking reason to be smart about his money and what he did with it. Right? Wouldn't you say that makes more sense than he happened upon a treasure that nobody else ever had and then
Right.
he lived his life out in all this land he bought. No,
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
but then will you get producers to pay for 10 seasons of a show that's going to go nowhere?
It just seems like
Well,
more
so,
than a little racist to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not trying to like jump on a soapbox. It's just the assumption made. Like, I mean, look at Frederick Douglass, for crying out loud. One of the most intelligent men and fantastic orators that this country has ever seen. He was born a slave. Nobody questions the thirst for knowledge and his pursuit of it, and how he made a wealthy man of himself. Why couldn't this gentleman have done the same thing after he was freed and straight up went to Canada, where they were at least a little more accepting of people who used to be slaves, black people? I mean, not so much indigenous people. They were just as fucking terrible to them as
Oh, yeah.
America was. But, there were actual townships of freed black people in Canada. That shit wasn't happening in the United States, not even in the North. I just think like it's a weird jump to treasure. That's the only explanation. Is it?
well, they're trying to sell the show. I get it.
Yeah, I just think it's a fucking dangerous thing to put into perpetuity.
Yeah.
Just like fucking genius archaeologists there. They don't want my opinion spread. Yeah, because you're dumb.
Because
Like,
you're wrong.
you're wildly incorrect.
See,
And
there
you're
are
gonna
facts.
and stupid people are gonna hear you and think you're smart. That's the dangerous part about you. Like, God. Fucking
I think we broke Brandon.
hallelujah. Holy shit. Where's the Tylenol?
So here's where they make the jump. They're saying that the land that he bought on Oak Island, he could have bought more than 20 times that from what he paid for on Oak Island. So they're saying, like, why did he buy that land on Oak Island when it was so much more expensive?
Because
Where
he
did
really
grow up?
fucking wanted it.
Probably.
Well, it's an island, right? So like,
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
yeah.
it would have been difficult to get to.
Makes sense.
Why
to
on
me.
earth would he want an island then? Seriously, like the fucking gaps in logic in some of this shit is like wildly disproportionate to the fucking shit they have filled in. Like, why would he want that? I don't know. Why would a guy who spent his life up to that point in captivity want an open area that nobody could easily access that would be just his? It's a real puzzler, isn't it, gang?
But then you wouldn't have the mystery of Oak Island and 10 seasons of a show.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, and my life would not be full without
So-
that.
Who's the treasure supposedly supposed to belong to? Like, where did this treasure come from?
It was either pirates or nobody knows.
One time, this astronaut landed and he found a bottle with this little blonde woman in it. Her name was Jeannie, and he was like, "I wish there was a treasure buried on a small island off of Nova Scotia that'll just really rattle people's fucking minds for like countless decades." And she was like, okay, that's got to be how it happened, right?
You're so smart, master.
Yeah, whatever you say, master. Strange that I wear a midriff bearing outfit, but I'm not allowed to show my belly button.
Well, there is a mystery on Oak Island. There was something buried
Is it
there.
how do they still have viewers?
Probably, yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Leo. What's the mystery?
No. It was
Do you have hope of them actually finding the treasure?
no.
I gotta know. Okay.
If they, from what they like started doing, like rather than digging, they've done like these huge, like, I don't know, it's like a 12-foot drill that they go straight down and they're taking out like chunks of land, and it's like, if you didn't find anything, then like, I don't know. Yeah.
I can't even begin to understand how they would, like, I got a hot tip of where it might be this week. Like,
Let's put a hole
from
in the
who?
big, huge
Like,
hole.
Well, no. Originally there was a hole. So like there's a pit.
the hole was in the ground.
Yes, it's in the ground.
There
There was a
grass
pit.
grows all around.
Yeah, look it up. I'm not gonna get it. But yeah,
There's green grass grows all around.
There's a pit on
growing,
Oak Island. There's a pit on Oak Island. When they first tried to dig the pit, they found this this stone with carvings on it, giving some weird information about below this stone is treasure or something like that. They continued to dig. They hit a trap and like filled the pit full of water.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like it's time to get a sump pump. Oh, sorry, I'm using logic and reason again. My bad.
The amount of, yeah,
That's on me. Sorry, everyone. Like, oh no, that hole. There was a trap, and now it's filled with water. I guess we can't keep digging down that way. I mean, a trap being there certainly is an indicator. It's not an indicator that we were onto something. Move on to the next one, I guess, or pump it out and keep going. Would that be the thing to do? I mean, why was there a booby trap there?
We should do some treasure hunting.
No, why on earth? No.
I'd like to waste thousands of dollars.
Oh, thousands? I think they're up to millions now.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Think about how the revenue they've gotten from the show.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when the History Channel used to show history?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Oh, those were the fucking days, man. I mean, granted, there's only so much of the Nuremberg trials you can see before you become physically ill. But at least there was history on the History Channel. This fucking ancient aliens and Curse of Oak Island and all this fucking supernatural brouhaha. What the fuck? Come on, man. This is the shit that I used to go to the fiction section of my library for. Not history shit. Like history shit. I remember watching, like, the closest thing you got to, like, not necessarily historically accurate was fucking I, Claudius from Masterpiece Theater being on History Channel. Now it's the Curse of Oak Island.
Yeah. Carrie says, can't you use some sort of radar or metal detector?
I mean, they did in Jurassic Park, and they were able to look at stuff under the ground.
Yeah, there's like sonar, radar, and stuff like that. But yeah, this year they're like, it's like, I don't know how far. I know it's like over 100 feet down, so I don't think radar goes that far.
How fucking deep? How fucking deep could this fucking one guy possibly have buried a fucking treasure that after a decade of searching and going super deep, they haven't found shit?
So located on the east side of Oak Island, the Money Pit is or was a shaft more than 100 feet deep.
The Money
Okay.
Pit.
That's what they call the original hole where they started digging for the treasure.
Okay. But like
let's see. Dunfield was one of the people that was originally looking for it. He had reached a depth of 152 feet.
And
no gold.
What?
So what if the treasure is the original carver of the stone, knowing that they sentenced treasure hunters to a hopefully gruesome death for trying to get something of value that wasn't their own?
What if the real treasure was the friends we made along the way? I'm just, my god, this is mind numbing. I just fucking it's been on for a decade, just about. Like, oh my god, come on, stop.
It's Leo's fault,
Sorry.
and the people like Leo. You guys keep watching this.
Stop giving everything a chance, man. Like,
After 2 episodes, you got to stop after 2.
Okay, so the first account of the treasure looks like it was 1857.
the first account of it.
Okay, so very little verified information is. You
Go ahead.
asked.
I know.
Let's go.
Yeah, I hung my head because I
I'm
asked.
down
There's
in
a-
this rabbit hole.
Yeah. So what happened?
Okay,
What happened?
So I'll cut to the chase.
No.
This is from Wiki. The earliest known story of a treasure found by a settler named Daniel McGinnis appeared in 1857. It then took another 5 years before one of the alleged original diggers gave a statement regarding the original story, along with the subsequent Onslow and Truro Company activities. Let's see. Original story of early settlers involved a dying sailor from the crew of Captain Kidd, in which he states that treasure worth $2 million had been buried on the island. According to the most widely held discovery story, Daniel McGinnis found a depression in the ground around 1799 while he was looking for a location of the farm. And then McGinnis believed the depression was consistent with the Captain Kidd story.
So he found a dent in the ground?
With the assistance of 2 men, identified only as John Smith and Anthony Vaughn, he excavated the depression and discovered a layer of flagstones about 2 feet below. According to later accounts, oak platforms were then discovered every 10 feet. So as they were digging, every 10 feet, there was a series of platforms. And the account simply mentioned marks of some type on the intervals. The accounts also mentioned tool marks or pick scrapes on the walls of the pit. The earth was noticeably loose and not hard packed as the surrounding soil. 3 men reportedly abandoned the excavation at 30 feet due to a superstitious dread. Another twist on the story has all 4 people involved as teenagers in the rendering. McGinnis first finds the depression in 1795 while on a fishing expedition.
And this is the hole that got filled with water?
Yeah. Yep.
How much?
In 1802, group as the Onslow Company allegedly sailed from central Nova Scotia to Oak Island to recover what they believed to be the hidden treasure. They continued the excavation down to about 90 feet with layers of logs found every 10 feet and also discovered layers of charcoal putty, blah, blah, blah. Diggers then faced a dilemma when the pit flooded with 60 feet of water for unknown reasons.
You ever go to school and your teacher hands out like paperwork for the class? It's like a worksheet or whatever, and you can tell that they had like a master copy probably like 7 years ago, but they probably lost it, and they've lost like copies of the master copy. So now what you have for your worksheet is a copy of a copy of a copy, and you have like at least some decent generational loss on what the full image of that worksheet is supposed to be. That's the fucking story of the goddamn treasure on Oak Island. It's like, oh, this person said this, and then this person said this later, and according to this person, that person said this when they said this. Okay, sure. Whatever.
And Captain Kidd put it there.
Yeah, exactly. I bet if you asked any of these people if they fucking believed in like living past lives, and they said yes, they'd probably be someone famous. Oh, when I in my past life, I was Abraham Lincoln. I fucking bet you were.
I must be, because I'm afraid when I go to plays.
Yeah, exactly. I'm terrified of theaters.
Carrie says this reads like an island version of H.H. Holmes' grave exhumation.
I swear I've been told by at least 3 or 4 people that in past lives they were Billy the Kid. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
that
fucking.
dude has been a
They're
lot of
always
people.
somebody. They're always someone famous that everybody fucking knows about.
Of
You know, like
course.
you never like. Oh yeah, I was a chambermaid named Mary. Okay, you know what? I'd buy that a little bit more if you're like, yeah, I was just some lady that fucking cleaned out chamber pots for
Yeah.
like a noble back in like
Died
the
while
16th
fucking
century. I
pouring
died at
out
the
a
ripe.
chamber pot.
Yeah, I died at the ripe old age of 23.
Yeah.
There are some cool reincarnation stories, though.
I did not try to open a can of worms here. That was not what I was doing.
No, I won't go into it.
Who got
Please don't.
reincarnated?
No, no one. It's Oh my god.
Do they have shows about reincarnation too, Leo? That you watch?
Probably.
I can't. Where do you find time for all of this?
I
You
Do
watch
have
this shit,
a
but
person
me
that
saying
comes
like
in and cleans your house? Like,
you watch this shit, but then when I'm like, you should check out the Quantum Leap like sequel series, you're like,
that's
oh,
what
I
I've
don't
been.
know.
okay. So like the shows like the Ancient Aliens and you know Skinwalker Ranch, I fall asleep to. Like it's something I'll put on and it like knocks me out.
That
I feel like
understand.
that. I feel like
'cause
that
I
should
do
be
that
an
with Animal
indicator
Planet.
of the quality of those fucking shows. Like, oh yeah, I put it on. It's like fucking NyQuil. It knocks me right the fuck out. Does that mean it's good?
I do that with animal shows, but they are good. But
But there's
the,
no
the
like.
the narrators that they have on them are just
They're made
phenomenal.
for that. Yeah, they're made
dude.
for that.
Obama,
And-
holy crap, his voice.
Really?
He did.
I didn't know he did that. I
Yeah.
would love to hear. And here we have the meerkat.
Dude, it's
The
beautiful.
male meerkat will stick his head up from the ground.
It was great. I'm telling you, like his
Attenborough.
Netflix special is Attenborough is fantastic. I love them all. Like I'll put them on, and my nap time is done.
The female meerkat will also stick her head up from the ground. Man, I don't get a chance to do the Obama voice very often. God damn it, do I love it. I love Spider-Man, and I've recently quit smoking in public.
To answer your question, Brandon, though, if I watch anything like a good show like Quantum Leap, that will keep me up.
Yeah, I get that. I that's actually like one of the reasons I said to my wife years ago. I was like, listen, you cannot put like a show that we like on at night in the bedroom, like when you're trying to go to sleep. I can't do that because I will stay up.
Yep.
And that doesn't work for me. Like I'm a white noise fan, lights out kind of guy. I noises distract me too much when I sleep, so I have to have that neutral zone around my head.
Yeah, I have a fan running at night, so just so I get that noise all the time.
Yeah, same. I just can't do it otherwise. I'll sit there and it's like a nightmare scene from a movie. You can hear like every drip of water, every creak, the wind outside. Like this is bullshit. It's not even scary. I'm just
no.
Fuck. This is all distracting.
Yeah, I live at a busy intersection, albeit in the middle of the woods, but people love to take that intersection like it's a drag strip. And
yeah, that's always a blast.
Yeah,
I tried other documentaries, like I watched that Pez documentary.
Okay,
how was that?
Oh my god, that was so good. I ended up staying up late watching the whole damn
I thought
thing.
you were about to be like, I've tried like documentaries. Like I tried that Dear Zachary documentary, and I don't know, man. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it's an excellent documentary, but it's horrifying. Like it is disturbing. You only need to see it once. It is very affecting.
What's it about?
It's a documentary that was made by a guy about his best friend who had died. And he starts making the documentary for his friend's son, Zachary. who was born after his friend died. He was murdered by the mother of Zachary.
Whoa.
And
What's
that's
this
not
called? Because this
Dear's.
sounds up my wife's alley.
Well, I mean, hold on. Like, it's Dear Zachary.
Dear Zachary.
A letter to a son about his father. I think that's what it's called, but it's Dear Zachary, like straight up.
You should be writing this down, Leo, for Pluther.
And it's Zachary, like Zachary. Yeah, it's that's the name of it. Dear Zachary, a letter to a son about his father. I first read about this on Ain't It Cool News back in the day, and I eventually saw it. It's an hour and a half long, and yeah, I mean, it'll stick with you for the rest of your life. Wow. I can't say anything else about it because it's just so immensely tragic and horrifying. The synopsis on IMDb is simply: a filmmaker decides to memorialize a murdered friend when his friend's ex-girlfriend announces she is expecting his son. That's all I can say. And it's, I mean, part of it is like I don't want to give it away if you're gonna watch it, but I honestly, I give you the caveat. I caution you, like, seriously, it is not a feel-good documentary at all. Like, when you get to the end of it, you will feel some fucking despondency and absolute disgust with humanity. Like,
sounds like a good night.
It's an effective documentary. It's visceral. It's emotional. And
am I gonna cry?
Oh, you are absolutely.
I'm an emotional mess.
You are gonna cry like a school child with a skin knee.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Entertainment all around.
All right, buddy. I'm just saying, like, I'm not please understand, I'm not recommending this.
Oh, no. I'm always looking for new stuff to watch.
But if you're asking about it, I'm telling you about it. Okay.
She's really into the murder, like, documentary, like, really deep ones that
this is so much. This is not like a murder true crime documentary. That is not what this is at all. Like, she murdered him. Everybody knows she murdered him. That's not, yeah. I don't want to say what happened, but I'm just trying to, like, really help you manage the expectation. This is not like a true crime documentary. This is a documentary a filmmaker made for his friend's son because his friend was murdered by that kid's mom. And that is fucking scratching the barest surface of the situation that occurs within the unfolding of the story within this documentary. Like, it gets so much fucking worse. I cannot stress that enough. Like, if you think that sounds like an emotional beat stretched out into an entire documentary, you have no idea, because I did not see the rest of it coming. Even the review that I read years before did not hint at what happens. And when it happened, I fucking felt my heart jump up into my throat. You only need to see this movie once. It's not for me. It's not worth owning, because once was enough. It is indelibly imprinted on my memory. It is a full-blown wrinkle on my brain. So please weigh that before you watch it. I don't, you know what I mean?
Well, now I'm a little anxious.
You should be.
So Jar Jar, maybe instead watch the Pez documentary. It does have a dark turn, though.
The Pez documentary
the
has a
Pez-
dark turn. How
it
does
does.
the Pez doc? Good
Well,
lord, this world is really cruel and messed
Well,
up.
so the Pez documentary is about this guy that he's very poor and he decides to start selling toys. He ends up he works for some cereal box company and no, a recycling company. That's what it was. And he decided to play the game where he sends in like the barcodes to get the free prizes.
Mhm.
So he's like taking all the barcodes from the recycling place, and he's getting tons of prizes. He ends up selling them at conventions. That's where he learns about Pez, and he decides to try to make money selling Pez, and it just grows from there. And apparently, Lego of America didn't care for that. Not Lego, Pez of America didn't care for that. And eventually, the actual president of Pez in the U.S. decided to actually go after that one guy for selling Pez.
For selling like the aftermarket Pez dispensers,
Not after
like reselling them.
he actually went across to the like UK to buy like Pez that wasn't released in the States.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The
It's
Pez.
fucking crazy, guys. I'm like reliving the trauma of watching that fucking documentary.
Oh,
You have
you're
to-
all right, dude.
It is like legitimately like one of the most traumatic fucking things I've ever seen. Like it is so fucking sad.
Oh no.
And, like legitimately, if you watch it, if anybody like seriously checks it out, I'm telling you, like
I do plan on it.
it is somewhat traumatizing. Like it is a rough watch. Like I made the reference in passing. Like I didn't realize that I was the only one that knew what it was, but I haven't even like thought hard about it in a few years. It's fucking just please, if like I do not recommend anybody watch it. It is done well, but it is somewhat traumatizing altogether. Like and I'm saying that as someone who understands the existence of films like a Serbian film in the Human Centipede. Those are fake. They're not real. This shit happened. Like laws in Canada had to be fucking changed because of shit that happens in this family's life. It is fucking horrific. I just like it's really upsetting me like thinking about it.
Let's change the subject then. Let's change.
I'm just saying, like, if anybody watches it, please just watch it during the day and like with other people around or someplace you can go afterwards and talk to someone. Just like be part of society or whatever. Don't watch it late at night by yourself or anything. It's not a good idea. I'll just put it that way.
Gotcha.
Okay. Happy thoughts.
Now I really am like got like anxious sweats going on. I'm like, fuck, man, should I watch this?
It's up to you, man. I'm not gonna. I
mean, I've watched some dark stuff that has really fucked me up, but like,
dude, it's fucked up. It's really fucked up, like super fucked up.
Well, I'll change the subject and then we will
what
wrap
do you got?
things up. Well, I was just gonna say.
I swear to God, if you talk about Oak Island one more time, Leo.
No. But there's
hey, did you know that the director? Real quick, I just found this recently. The director of Happy Death Day and Freaky. You know who that is? What his name is?
No.
Christopher Landon.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, you know who his dad was?
Michael Landon.
Michael Landon, dude, he's making a name for himself as like a horror comedy director. Michael Landon was his dad, right? Now everybody knows Michael Landon from Highway to Heaven.
Yeah.
Little House on the
and
Prairie.
Little House on the Prairie. What was the first thing that everybody knew Michael Landon from, though?
Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah,
I was a teenage werewolf.
What?
Oh, I didn't know
I was a teenage werewolf. That's Michael Landon. I grew up watching that movie. That's how I knew him as a kid. Like the whole Thriller thing with the jacket on turning into a werewolf, that was a reference to I Was a Teenage Werewolf. You ever see the 1990 Stephen King's It?
Yep.
You've never seen it? Okay.
Wow.
Well, Jeremy, you've seen it. When
Yeah,
Richie, played by Seth Green, goes down to the basement because of the he needs to get a mop to clean up the stuff in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And he sees Mr. Marsh turning into a werewolf
Yeah.
wearing a Letterman jacket. That's because Richie was afraid of the movie I Was a Teenage Werewolf.
Ah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
He got his start, his big first role was in a horror movie where he played a teenage werewolf. And now his kid is a horror director who's making a pretty decent name for himself.
Seems Bonanza was bigger.
Bonanza, yeah.
I don't remember Bonanza at all.
Yeah,
My dad watched that.
My dad kind of liked Bonanza, but it wasn't really on in my house very often.
Yeah.
I think I saw F Troop more than Bonanza, to be perfectly honest.
All right. Well, the last thing we're gonna bring up is what did Steven put in the chat? It was we're not gonna, within the next 6 months we'll find out the cast of for the DCU.
Oh yeah, that'll, I mean,
San Diego.
That's all good.
Yeah.
I mean,
they'll finally have their Hall H.
Honestly, like I'm willing to give James Gunn and Peter Safran a chance on all of this. I mean, there's nothing that I heard that was announced that was discouraging by any stretch of the imagination. And like I said, a lot of it forms a circle where you can see like the lines and gaps are going to get filled in between. They have connective tissue between a lot of the stuff. But like, I've not seen anything from James Gunn for the most part that he's done regarding comic book / superhero fare that would make me think he's not capable of guiding this ship in the right direction. You know, he, especially when you look at some of the things he's kind of using as the compass for the direction that these stories need to go in. You know, the fact that Brave and the Bold for Batman is going to have the Bat family involved, and that Superman, like the stuff he's looking at for inspiration in that regard is, you know, he's referencing All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. Those are two excellent examples of how you can utilize these well-known, long-running characters and give them fresh stories that embody exactly what the characters should be all the time. And combine that with the fact that he clearly loves the 4-color palette and leans so heavily into the Kirby-esque artwork from the cosmic side of Marvel while doing Guardians of the Galaxy and, you know, the entire trilogy and what have you. I mean, that's, I think, one for the win column altogether. DC and Marvel movies are dead. We need to wait a decade to see the change, if there is one. I mean,
I hear like a year or so.
Yeah. I mean, we just literally talked a little while ago about how we're excited for The Flash, and I feel like that's going to be a major turning point altogether.
Yeah, and it's kind of like
I
a
could be
seesaw,
wrong.
you know, like Marvel had its, you know, had its run, and people are forecasting.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel people are burnt out on the Marvel experience.
Well, you know, I think Marvel isn't dead. I think what happened was during the pandemic and the shift in leadership for a short amount of time over at Disney caused a little bit of, it skewed the target for them. Instead of quality, they were shooting more for quantity, and that in such a short amount of time involving movies and numerous shows, that inundated folks. And I think that was definitely a bit much. To space it out a little bit more and pace these things a little bit more evenly, that's the key. You know, you want stuff like this, and when you think about it, this is how the entire like Infinity Saga was worked out. You want the big things, the big points to feel like an event. You know, that's what people start to gravitate towards, because that same feeling used to be evoked by Star Wars movies, and that went away because they put so many new stories out in such a short amount of time that it no longer felt like the big deal it was when a new one would come out. And then with Marvel, they tweaked it and they gave us like these little things that built up, and you got the big movie, and then little things that built up and got another big movie. Once we got past the end of it with Endgame and we're going on to the next phase, it became every single thing needed to be the big thing that you saw. And that's not the right approach. You need to have the slow build in certain things so that when you get to the big event, it means a lot more.
Well, we've gone from like 1 to 2 movies a year to what, like 10 projects a year.
Well, what did you read off just for this year on Marvel? Like 6,
Yeah.
7 for the Marvel universe. That was,
Yeah.
like, that's a lot.
It is, and
That's even a lot to expect the fans to all want to go and see, B to spend the money.
Yeah, total. Well, I mean, when they come to Disney Plus, I'm sure everybody's going to check them out.
Well, yeah.
But like, you hit the nail right on the head. The fans, the true Marvel fans, we're still going to see everything. We're still going to watch everything. I think we've definitely come from a turning point of, a Marvel movie being something that everybody sees, to just, the core fans. And then DC, going from, hit and miss to, entering a new era. I think we're on that precipice right now of a slowdown in Marvel, a build up in DC. But the cool thing,
it's actually a natural like plateau for how long the Marvel stuff's been going on, that DC can come in and say like, hey, here's different characters and geared towards a different thing. It's not like putting together a bunch of gems on a glove and alternate reality. I will say I truly hope they stay way the fuck away from Crisis on Infinite Earths. I don't want that at all.
No,
not for a long time, if ever.
If ever.
That could be a wicked convoluted story on the screen.
I mean, that was done to correct all the things that had happened over like 50 years at that point. And I mean, they are pretty much course correcting with The Flash. I don't think the Crisis on Infinite Earths is the title of a story that should be coming out of anybody's mouth insofar as they are anticipating that movie. Like, that's insane to me.
Or needs to see ESG don't make money.
I
don't know what that means.
I have no idea. ESG. I don't know what ESG is.
2 hours in.
Yeah. Regardless, though, like there's a room at the table for a lot of different stuff. And once again, it doesn't have to be this or that. You can enjoy everything all together. Most of us nerds and dorks and geeks out there will do exactly that. But if anybody starts fading away and they feel like a lot of the stuff, which everything out there for the most part right now is Marvel, has become inaccessible, they're not wrong. And people shouldn't have to do homework.
No.
Whatever.
Okay.
Shouldn't have to do homework / watching assignments in order to be able to see the next installment of something. That's ridiculous.
At this point now, you're gonna have to sit down to watch 40 hours of movies and
shows.
Who knows how many shows? Yeah,
and I honestly do think that pumping out the shows did more damage than good in regards to how people are viewing it, because they were like, oh, captive audience, people got Disney Plus subscriptions and we can't put stuff out in theaters. Let's really focus on giving them stuff they can watch at home for weeks at a time. That's like fine in theory, but when you're making it all like, oh, you have to watch this so you can watch the next thing, it's like, but can I watch this just to watch it? And that hasn't been the case. That's part of the reason why I was saying like it was refreshing to see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah, that's true. You can't just sit down and be like, oh, I'm going to watch Wanda and be like, hold on, I need to now watch the Avengers because I don't know how her brother died.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like the worst part. It's like, oh, I have to watch Age of Ultron to watch this? That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. What'd I do to you, man? Let me tell you, I was talking shit in the parking lot. They're not wrong, but still, why'd they say something?
Well, they can always go back and watch 10 seasons of Oak Island. So
there you go.
Oh, yes, they
How many
could.
episodes a season? Is that 24?
Too many.
I don't know.
Ugh.
I tried watching it and it's like, oh my God. It's yeah, no. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but I run the Dorkening Podcast Network. And what the heck? Ghostbuster Man 1984.
Whoa.
Hey, wrap it up and go to sleep.
We're working on that. Drew, oh, he's gone.
That was interesting.
That was Drew the Marshmallow.
Okay, so Jar Jar.
Hey, check me out every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. over on Splash Pages, and then here on Wednesday nights. And come check out the group on Facebook, Comic Book Lovers Buy, Sell, Trade, and Auction House, and you can hang out with thousands of other people buying, selling, and trading all your wonderful geek stuff.
Awesome. Powerful Brandon.
Hey, everybody. I'm Powerful Brandon. If you feel so inclined, come on over to Facebook and check out the Powers Combined group. We're just a conglomeration of dorks, geeks, and nerds that get together to share news, info, memes, laughs, good times to be had by all. Our number one rule there is don't be a jerk. If you violate that, you will be booted immediately. If you want to follow me on social media, you can check me out on Twitter at Brandon's Powers and on Instagram at This Brandon Has Powers. And aside from showing up here on the Midweek Geeks every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch me on 2 different podcasts that alternate week by week. They come out on Sundays. That would be The Dork Night that I do with Mr. Leo Pond and our good friend Justin Cooper, in which we dissect and discuss all things Batman. And the other, like I said, alternating, is Comics Paradox, which I do with Leo and Justin as well, in which we discuss all types of alternate takes on characters and stories that we already know and love, such as DC's Elseworlds and Marvel's What Ifs. We'll also be talking about different series from other publishers, as well as story arcs from the big 2, like Age of Apocalypse for X-Men or Tangent Comics from DC. And you can find those wherever fine podcasts are broadcast.
Yeah, and this week's Dork Night showed up a little late, but it is up. Life got in the way. So
with that, you get to hear me refer to the Batmobile as the Nimblemobile. You should check it out.
We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.